Hello, you're watching Dialogue on CCTV International. I'm your host, Tian Wei. The users in China over the past week have run into one of Microsoft Corp's latest anti-piracy efforts. The company installed a new software on recent online updates. That specific software determines whether the software on the computer is legitimate or pirated. Users will be treated with black plain desktop if their computers are using the fake Microsoft software. The move has become perhaps the most attention-grabbing yet by the software giant. And now we are sitting in the studio with our guests to talk about the impact of this incident and what is really the way to protect IPR in China. We have in the middle Lu Yu. She is the partner with the Capital Associates PRC lawyer. Welcome. And meanwhile, we have here Edward Lehman, our longtime friend and managing director of Lehman, Lee and Xu. Welcome. Thanks. Meanwhile, we also have the lawyer over there. We have three lawyers on the panel. And Mr. Shi Yusheng, he's the partner with King & Wood. That's also a Beijing-based law firm. But before we go to the discussion, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at this background report to know more about the story.
On October 21st, Microsoft deployed an updated anti-piracy tool which turns a user's screen black if the computer's installed software fails a validation test. Chinese experts have discussed the deeper impacts of the move.
For Microsoft, it is protecting its intellectual property rights, but while carrying out its own lawful rights, it may harm others or abuse its rights. I think the authorities should take action to set boundaries for Microsoft. Netizens are emotional, but such emotional reactions are not helpful.
At issue is a software feature that searches for pirated copies of Windows. In conducting the search, the tool logs certain information about the personal computer and then notifies the user if it detects illegal copies or counterfeits. Many netizens have fumed about what they see as an invasion of privacy. Users of legitimate software have even turned their own screens black in protest.
Apparently, it is disturbing to have one screen blackout. More seriously, Microsoft could visit computers, get data and control computers easily without informing users. That is more harmful than black screens. We hope more experts focus on these aspects.
Some other experts have seen the black screen tactic as an opportunity.
Microsoft's move is a challenge for China's legal system. It is also an opportunity for domestic software makers. We could press the government to support the development of our own operating systems. I suggest local companies seize the chance and develop our own software that suits Chinese.
Microsoft's black screen tactics have aroused discussions on internet morality, software pricing, and the growth of the Chinese software industry. Experts say they have to come up with more constructive advice and submit it to the government.
Very interesting background report and certainly a very interesting debate going on in China. Let me ask you this question just to begin our conversation. How do you react to the really strong reaction from both the public, the industry, and the government about this very specific case on anti-piracy and whether that's the best practice?
Well, I think that certainly it affects and permeates almost everyone's aspect of life, for sure. I mean, when you consider the prevalence of computers here in China and the use of the software. So, of course, it's going to raise netizens' concerns, no question about that.
So understandable.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Luca?
I think if you look at legal background and also the cultural background of China, this is really very natural reaction.
Mm-hmm.
In my point of view, it is normal to have debates over this issue, but perhaps it is a little bit overreacted because Microsoft is the legal owner. I do believe they have a right to safeguard their copyright, over such kind of action.
Mm-hmm. Whether overreaction or not, of course, we'll have about half an hour to debate about that. But right now, let's have someone that is closely linked to the story. We have representative from Microsoft, Michael Lin, who is director of Windows Business Group with Microsoft China. Michael, let me ask you about this question. How do you, as our panel have already said, their reaction to the rather strong reaction in China about this case, how does Microsoft think about it? Michael.
The purpose of Windows and Office Genuine Advantage program is to help customers determine if they have counterfeit Windows XP and Office installed on their computers. It is part of Microsoft's ongoing effort to protect its customers and partners from counterfeit software. There's a couple of points I want to emphasize. First of all, it is a global program, not specifically designed for China. Secondly, the program is completely voluntary. Users have complete control whether they install the notification to validate or not. Thirdly, for users who fail to validate, their computer functions are completely intact. All applications and data are not affected in any way. And lastly, for users who believe they are using genuine software, meaning they have unknowingly bought a high-quality counterfeit and sees a black desktop background when they fail to validate, they can actually call in to Microsoft today to claim a free and genuine copy of Windows as part of Windows Genuine Advantage program benefits. And since we launched the program, we have heard many feedbacks from our customers of genuine software, as well as channel partners that actually sell genuine software. They believe the program has generated a healthy debate on the protection of intellectual property rights. And they believe more and more people will be convinced of the benefits of using genuine and risk of using counterfeit, and will start buying and using genuine software in the future.
Well, it certainly pays off to know the opinions from the Microsoft because you have started to put this specific software into the latest updates. But many people are considering this also as an interesting case study when it comes to China's effort for IPR protection. What is the best way for IPR protection here in China? What does Microsoft think about, for example, Chinese government's efforts in the IPR protection over the past few years?
We are very encouraged to see that there is an intellectual property rights regulation framework, and there are many instances of law enforcement in action. This is why Microsoft, together with other software companies, responded to the call by the National Copyright Administration, Ministry of Public Security, and Ministry of Industry and Information Technology. We requested government agencies to investigate the case of Tomato Lay, and the result is that agency took swift actions to enforce regulation and protect software intellectual property rights. We believe strong enforcement will benefit entire Chinese software industry and faster innovation.
Well, thank you very much. Certainly, it is wonderful to have someone that is closely linked to the story. Representative from Microsoft, actually Director of the Windows Business Group, Michael Lin from Microsoft China. Thank you. Now let's come back to our studio discussion. We heard the voice from the other side who has explained quite clearly as to what their goal is, on the paper at least. What do you think, though? Luca, let's take a look at the reactions here in China. You have the Computer Federation saying they strongly condemn such action because it breached the so-called basic ethics of software developers by using remote control. However, on the other hand, you have the Chinese public, 85% online saying they are against it, even though they understand it's important for IPR protection. How should we see the controversy here?
Well, I fully understand why Microsoft, take approach, want to protect the IPR, but I think in the meantime, they also need to consider about the risks. I'm not their lawyer, but if I were their lawyer, I would remind them about the certain risks.
What are the risks?
For example, they did mention that, I think just according to the interview, they mentioned that, there's no damage to the computer, but actually by turn the screen into black, you're actually damaging people's property right? They do have a right to use their own property. The software program cannot run independently, it has to be used together with a computer. But by turn the screen into black, I think you're actually damaging people's property right.
Do you agree with that, Mr. Shi?
No, I don't agree. As I said just now, Microsoft is a legal owner over the copyright of the Windows operating system. Therefore, they have the legal right to protect their intellectual property rights. Maybe the matter is in what kind of approach they can take.
Right.
Actually, there are two approaches.
And whether that approach have violated others' rights at all.
But basically there are two approaches. One is legal approach. They can bring the infringers, the pirates, to the court. And they can also use some technical solutions. This time, I believe this is a kind of technical solution to resolve this kind of a problem. So actually, people should understand that it's a big problem for piracy here